And for the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. This one, the odds are even crazier. Negative 700 favorite for Volkanovski. Korean Zombie coming in as a plus 500 underdog. Volkanovski, man, that last fight that he had with Ortega, I don't even know. We had seen him, Volkanovski in the stand-up with Holloway. We knew that he was tough. We knew that he was good all around. But he took things to a new level when Ortega, like one of the best submission artists in the division, maybe in the UFC, gets these super tight, deep, submissions that, what did he have him in? The guillotine, and Volkanovski just had no quit in him. He just refused. He's like, I'm not passing out. I'm not going to tap, and somehow fought through it. And then like 2 seconds after he got out of that guillotine, he found himself in like a triangle choke that was so deep. You're just like, oh my God. I was freaking out watching that fight. And cannot believe that Volkanovski was able to escape those submissions, and he just destroyed. I mean, other than those submissions, destroyed Ortega. If you look at Ortega's face after that fight was over, it looked like he got hit by a train. So Volkanovski, absolute beast. I don't really see this is another fight. I don't see a way for Korean Zombie, to win this fight where you can say he's going to win it on the ground. He's going to, have a chance in the stand-up. I don't see the path for Korean Zombie. And Korean Zombie, he's coming off of a win over Dan Ige. It was a 5-round fight. It was a competitive fight, a fun fight to watch. Korean Zombie before that lost to Ortega, who Volkanovski just beat.
Pretty bad.
And this wasn't...
He lost.
Yeah, and this wasn't...
Beat down.
This wasn't like, 3, 4, or 5 years in between where, maybe it was a different Ortega. It was relatively recent, October of 2020, they lost to Ortega. And obviously you can't do the MMA math and say, oh, just because he beat this guy lost to him, therefore he's going to win. But, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Volkanovski. He just is a great athlete, great, performs consistently. You mentioned his fight against Ortega where, Ortega, shows why he's in the UFC, why people of this level are always dangerous no matter what's happening. They can get beat up and they get, a chance and they throw up a Hail Mary and it can land. And it almost did. I think anyone else should have tapped. I thought Volkanovski was out at one point. I was like, there's no way. Like, how did he walk into that? And, he's got to be grateful and thankful for his short, stocky neck that, like, kept him in it. Yeah. He just, like, shrugged and popped out. Like, maybe the bald hair, like, just helped him slip out. Because I don't know how else he got out. And, the Korean Zombie, always been a fan of him. It's going to be an exciting fight where he brings pressure, tries to, make an attack happen. But having seen the outcome of, him against Brian Ortega, it's hard to think. Again, MMA math doesn't matter, doesn't work, nothing. But he got beat down, and it was kind of sad. Like, he was definitely on his way up, and Ortega humbled him, and then Volkanovski humbled Ortega. So I'm excited for it. I hope that Volkanovski keeps it going. Maybe when you start having these kind of fighters that are, at the top of their division, we start seeing, those jumpers fighting weight classes and going for multiple belts. I want to see that happen more. It'd be great to see, Peter Yan against Volkanovski if they could ever get close to weight, anything like that. But, there's such a big difference as they go up or down, and I want to see it. Give me some super fights, some freak shows. Like, let's bring Pride style back into it, because they're already so big. And, difference wise, like, we were sharing today that Paddy Pimblett, is already up to 200 pounds, and he fought at 155, and you're like, man, does weight matter? Yes, it does, absolutely, but let's have some fun with it.
Yeah. Another interesting fact here is how great of an upset would it be if Korean Zombie won, because he fought for the belt against Jose Aldo in 2013, and here we are 9 years later. He gets another chance at the belt
Mm-hmm.
it would be, like I don't know what you can compare it to, like a Michael Bisping story, someone who's been going at it for so long and then, is finally able to get that belt.
It's a Rocky Four.
So
He's an Asian Rocky Four.
yeah,
Like that.
yeah, he's a big underdog. It would be absolutely incredible if he comes out on top. Great for him, and it's his great career. I'm gotta imagine he's getting close to the end of it. He's a 145 pounder and he's 35 years old. And for that weight class, one of the most competitive for sure in MMA is 145. 155 I'd say probably the most competitive, and maybe 170. And you slip just a little bit. It's not like heavyweights, I feel like, in terms of the expected longevity. The fights, they tend to take a lot more strikes, and it's also just a much more competitive division. So he's got to be getting at the end of his career, and how great would it be for to be able to go out on top if he wins the title fight and either just retires right there or maybe has one more fight so he can make some money and get those champion pay-per-view points maybe. But
yeah, besides,
yeah,
I want to say this year we have yet to see like the upset that's craziness that you're just like, that was not expected. There's been some crazy finishes for sure. Oh yeah, Nunez was that this year?
I think it was this year. I'm pretty sure. I think it was just a few months ago. Nunez, that was the great upset of the past decade. I feel like, yeah. Against Pena.
But that's crazy that you bring up, Jose Aldo. Like that seems like that was so many generations of UFC, and like he's like our age. Like,
yeah, yeah.
And you're like, he was like,
yeah.
That was his time, 2013, and I'm like, oh, we're past our prime too.
Man, MMA moves fast. I mean, for being as young of a sport it is, yeah, 2 or 3 years in this sport, and especially when there's fights every single weekend. Yeah, it seems like an eternity ago back in 2013 against Jose Aldo. But yeah, looking forward to this one. There's gonna be some great fights on this card. I can't wait to see them. There's some big underdogs, so how fun would it be to see one of these huge upsets? There's going to be 3 chances for 3 of these fighters coming up on this next card.